not the mic. One more road to cross, and things to make. Hey, serious Kyrene, what is up? Looser. Carlin, what's up, man? Oh man, it's the sorcery. Trap boy, what's up, bro? What's up, killer? Bundy Royale with cheese. Black Beast, what's up, bro? Let me see something. Let me make sure. Oh, never mind. Love drive you crazy. Let's get a copyright strike. You got trap chords for scalar? Congratulations. The game has just changed for you, sir. Nothing will ever be the same. Just remember, when you use those, don't necessarily think of them like chord progressions, like you would do like some R&B shit or some shit like that. Like you want to you want to use those you want to use them where they be like you can use them in one bar, right? And put them on the quarter notes. You know what I'm saying? And then and then ride it out like a melody almost. I know it says trap chords, but they can they're when you think about trap, like it's really like the basis for a melody. Try that, and then halftime it, and enjoy it. Season's greetings to all my motherfuckers. How y'all doing this evening? I am dipping to the Northeast for a week. I'm excited. Gonna go see Giannis take on the Sixers. Gonna go hang out with the family. Gonna have to hopefully they got some tamales made for your boy. I'm coming for them tamales. I'm gonna slide up to New York and take my girl shopping. I got like $1,400 ready to blow on that lady. So that should be fun. Thanks, LeVar, bro. I appreciate you. It was a pleasure meeting you, bro. We gotta link up again. I gotta talk to MG about doing another link up. I want to do it different. I think I want to ditch the after watching 607's YouTube video, it made me kind of look at that whole situation a little different, and I don't think like I want to do like a for-profit thing. I think I just want to fucking figure out a way where all of us can throw down on like an extravagant Airbnb and just kick it, you know, hang out, fucking relax, enjoy each other, drink some fucking scotch and tell some jokes. I think that would be I think that would be super cool. Right, LeVar? That shit was lit, bro. That shit was lit. Six made me realize like that like we're a family, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're fucking internet cousins. We gotta run that. King King, you ain't ready to take that ride with me, boy. I'll have your ass peeking out in public. You'll be like, bro, Are you sure you want to go out in public? People can see us. I'd be like, nah, dude, you gotta feel the energy. I want to listen to something.
I'm telling you, boy, I got them boys, dog. I'm trying to tell you, boy. You can't catch me, boy. Don't upset me, boy. Touch me, my dog gon' watch you, boy. Never disrespect me, boy. Dog, you better check your boy. Cause I'll never 38 you, I'll take you, boy. Pray God protect you, boy. Go in the zone, it's like you let you, boy. I know you wanna go home, but we gon' let you, boy. And if my money ain't right, you better stretch you, boy. Cause when I got that bird, I'ma sweat you, boy. You see us round in the Lexus, boy. But we rap a lot like a Texas, boy.
I have a project I want to do this year. I want to hunt down Righteous Funk Boogie, and I want to do like a podcast, you know, where like because if he's still in Florida, bro, like I want to pull up on him and I want to do an interview on him and I want to talk about this era of Slip and Slide Records, bro. Because when you listen to these beats, these drums, bro, you can like you can hear like this is what the Miami sound like turned into from booty shake music, because like booty music was basically what they did. They took the Pac Jam and then they put it on records in the studio, right? So when you listen to this, let's do a little history. I'll do a little run through. Y'all tell me if y'all interested in this shit or if you just want to see me fucking make a beat. But we go here, right? Like this is like Uncle Al is the GOAT, right? And this brother right here is probably like the most important fucking figure in Miami music.
It's time. Bass is gonna blow your mind. Come on, come on, come on.
So first thing I want you to notice is like when you listen to the beginning of it, that's a break beat, right? But it's sped up, similar to what the you know, like what the brothers who do like drum and bass or jungle music, like they would take those classic breaks like the Amen break and shit like that, and they would speed it up to get that, you know, to get that party vibe. And then there was a couple other things that they did in these songs that you see. Watch, I'll show you. This is just really interesting to me because this is local shit. Now you hear that 808? That's a sub bass. That's not like an 808 sample. That's not a TR 808 kick drum. Like that's a sub bass, and you hear it. It's mono. It's not a bass line. They're just like spamming that root note.
Let's rock this party. Who know what the boys gonna do, y'all? Let's rock this party. Uncle Al and the bass gonna watch y'all. Let's rock this party. Y'all know Sugar here go what? We're gonna rock this party. What's my name? I gotta be the watch y'all. DJ, come rock this party. We boogie. Don't stop and work and shake it. Let's rock and shake it, work it. Yo.
So that air horn that you hear, that's something that that was like a routine that they would do at the Pac Jam parties where they would play that air horn and everybody would know to cover their ears. Once that air horn was done, they would then have like these cannon explosions on the speakers, and if you didn't cover your ears, like you would legit go deaf for a second, right? So what this song is, this is a special song, is because they were able to take that vibe and like and that experience, clean it up, and then put it on a record. And that's pretty much what bro did on all his albums.
Body rock it, shake it, all the way to the ground. Let's go, y'all. To the floor, let's go, y'all. Rock it on, y'all. Sugar, your DJ, so loud. Bass, what's up? Rock that thing. Now let me say. All ladies in the house. I am the one. Who gonna? Hey, ladies, shaking what?
What's up, Woody?
Oh, yeah. Who all the ladies in the house? Let me hear say. Oh,
if you pay attention to the arrangement, the way they change the energy is by taking the bass out and putting it back in. That's why if you guys watch my arrangement tutorials, a lot of the shit that I talk about deals with energy and how to switch it up. And like one of the easiest tricks is to like play with the sub bass, remove the sub bass, change the bass. All of that shit comes from just me being a little boy taping this song on the radio and listening to these songs. Like this is like the beginning of my understanding of music. And then you notice what's going on is you look at his name. This isn't MC Uncle Al. This is DJ Uncle Al, right? So this is even though it happened later in Miami, it was a very it was like a and the reason why it's so unique is because it was like hip hop started. It was an organic beginning of hip hop, right? So hip hop started with DJs in New York doing parties outside. Hip hop in Miami was DJs at all ages clubs spinning funk records and talking over them. And what they would do, like as the culture progressed, they would take like your favorite record, right? And then the DJ, he have the instrumental, he'd have the instrumental on one side, and then the regular song on the other side. And what Uncle Al would do, and why he was so like famous and prolific, is he would remix the song live. So it'd be Snoop and Dre, like 1 2 3 into the 4, and then he would switch over to the instrumental side flawlessly. Now, like, I'm talking about, like, this is real skills. Like when people say like turntables and instruments, this is what they're talking about, right? So he had to start the record at the same time so it didn't miss a beat. Otherwise you wouldn't dance, right? Then he flipped to the other side of the crossfader, and then it'd be like Snoop 1 2 3 into the 4, and then you hear Uncle Al and bass heads at your door, and then switch back, and it would be like flawless, right? So that was that you know that's how our version of this shit popped off. And there really wasn't. And it's the same thing. It's very similar to how New York started, right? So New York, everything was party centric. You didn't really catch gangster rappers until like until like decades later. The DJ was always the star of the show, because what the DJs were able to do, and it was they would take um they would also have transmitters, right? So they would take, you get a truck, you put a whole bunch of Sherwin Vegas in it and shit, and your turntables, and then you would have an FM transmitter on the back of it, and it was the radio station was 89.1. And I was a little boy. I lived in South Broward though, and that shit would come on, and it was 89.1, and I wasn't able to, like at this point I was a little boy, so I couldn't just walk into the record store and get all these things, because they had this fucking sticker on it. And this is back when like Dionne Warwick and Tipper Gore and all them were trying to destroy hip hop and saying like, no, you can't say these words and shit. This is crazy. You can't be buying it. So you'd have to, I'd have to have like my super churched out mom looking at it, and she see pictures of fucking this is my mom is on my white side, so she's seeing black people and ass, and she's like, no way, not in my house, no sir. So 89.1 would come on, right? 89.1 would come on, and you would hear, you hear this guy, and it was Uncle fucking Al, bro, the GOAT, right? You hear this guy, and he'd be like shouting out his friends, you know what I mean, fucking doing all these doing all these rhymes. They weren't songs, but it was just like, it was pump up shit for the for the neighborhood, and it was wild. You would hear crazy shit, bro. Like he'd be on the radio. You got to remember, like as a little boy, like you ain't seen nothing. Like I'm in elementary school, and I'm hearing him stop the music, talking about like, hey, all y'all fuck boys, the next person who shoots, we're taking the speakers away. You know what I mean? We're gonna turn the party out. Everybody say peace in the hood. Like it's so imagine like you're in 4th or 5th grade, and you're listening to people outside just, like 8 miles down the fucking road, you know what I mean? Yes, sir. Eduardo knows. Eduardo knows. You know what I mean? Like the Dade County line is just right over there. Okay. And they're talking, and they're talking about this shit, and they go from talking about like people shooting guns to then going back and having fun. It's crazy. It's a culture shock. That's how I got introduced to hip hop was through this music. So when you go and analyze it, they're going like 135 beats per minute. Um, Ronnie wants to know public pirate radio stations were always on the route. I heard it was for a limited time in single neighborhood when the single was too far away. No, the 89.1 would move around. There was different ones. There's 89.1 it would move around. There was another one. There was another one. I forget what it was, but he was this guy. He did. I can't believe I forget his fucking name right now. But he would just play hip hop, right? And that's why that's why like Miami is a special place for hip hop. That's why once our rappers came out, they were real lyrical because they had like the southern drawl and like the Dade County accent, but it wasn't like New York. Like New York was always on some hater shit, right? Like if you weren't from New York, they ain't fuck with you. Um California, like those guys, like they all had like a lot of super pride about West Coast, right? Miami, because so many people came from out of town. Yeah, DJ Khaled started on the one that I'm talking about. It was the Puerto Rican guy from fucking. He used to, bro. They used to sell coke on the radio. Like they would fucking take your order when you called in, and you could go pick it up. Like real shit. Um, but what was I saying? So the whole yes, so you would have this vibe, which was like the party vibe, the community vibe, and then there was another DJ. He wasn't like a rival or anything, but he set up his own pirate radio station, and what he was playing, he was just playing he was just playing hip hop. You know what I mean? Like 93 to Infinity, Illmatic, Wu Tang and shit like that. So our music coming up, listening to the radio, right? This was listening to the radio, was uncensored booty party music and uncensored raw straight East Coast hip hop, right? And those two things in the early 90s came together in the mid and late 90s, right? They came together into the mid and late 90s to form the slip and slide sound. And I want to show that to you guys. So the thing about like these records and Two Live Crew records is a they have a certain composition, right? So you take the drum break, you would speed it up. They would take the air horn from the Pac Jam, throw that in there.
Listen, house, let me he said one thing, y'all. Oh, yeah. Everybody in the house, don't be scared, say it. Oh, yeah. Pull out on to the side, make you wanna say what? Oh, yeah. Mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, y'all. Mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, y'all. Mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, y'all. Uncle Wild style, we bugging. Shake it on, shake it on, shake.
They would run that Planet Rock sound in the background. Like that shit was used on a bunch of songs.
We bugging. Shake it on,
Hear it?
shake it on, shake it on style. We bugging. Shake it on, mix it up, y'all. Uncle Wild style. We bugging. Shake it on, shake it.
But then the other thing that was huge, the other thing that was huge was funk records, right? Okay. So the big thing that like the big thing at those Pac Jam parties, there wasn't local rap records. That shit had not been created until like Two Live Crew and Uncle Al started doing this shit. But they were, these parties were legendaries from like the early and mid 80s, right? So what they were listening to at these parties was they were listening to funk records, right? And it was like a lot of Barry White. So when you hear this shit, the oh my god, don't do this. when you hear this one right here.
Drop dick coming, 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 drop dick coming. Lift it up, give me a nigga. That vibe move, fuck nigga, rock you, my nigga, no good, ain't nothing but so good. Trick that in the house, Mr. Scratch, watch your mouth. C-E-R-C and go to the
I like my hoes, never homos in the street hoeing. Things to the scope with their ass cheeks showing, looking fly with their hammer nails done up in that cool. None of us like to run up and on, like the big booty hoes, cute faces. Let nigga hit it on the first day basis. Niggas fake bitch kick game straight, X no down with the dominate place on. Or when the path is set with diamonds glaring, keep a nigga staring when you're wearing down a Karen. Or skipping shit to keep a nigga looking at you. In the bunk says you can show off your tattoo. Even if you're a max true player, she ain't giving up the ass even if a nigga pay her. You say you're not a money on your home, but if so, come and get this cash for me, keep it on the low.
Niggas in the house of me, let me freak them hard. Your pussy, your titties.
You hear how Luke interacts with the record. That's because Luke and you notice he never you never heard Luke like spit a 16 because he's from the DJ cloth, right? He's not trying to rap, right? Where's Trick at? Yes. Right about to say you my bitch now. So not only do you have the bass music influence, you have the fucking you have the bass music influence, you have the funk influence, you've got the sped up drum break, you know, a lot of that's hip hop. When you listen to the MCs that are on it, like Trick isn't on here, you know, respect to you know, rest in peace, Fresh Kid Ice and Love Them Brothers and their contributions. But those boys and Brother Marquise, those boys were from LA, right? So they came over here and it was like rapping slower, kind of like on some old like on some I don't know, like almost like Run DMC, like that was their cadence. But our rappers, like the guys who came up here, like you listen to them and you listen to the way they hit the beat, they didn't half time the beat. Like it wasn't no like, listen up y'all, we're coming to fuck and then we'll bend your ass over and then you got to suck. Like no, bro, like them boys were hitting the snares, riding the hi-hats, you know, like real top tier lyricism. And you listen to the story, like if you actually listen to what Trick Daddy's saying in the story and what he's talking about, if you're casual and you listen to it, you're like, oh man, like how could he say that about women? And then would you really listen to what he's saying? He's talking about a situation like the types of, you know, like a certain type of woman who's in, you know, who's from his neighborhood, who, you know, will go out and, you know, get herself into trouble sexually. Then she has a baby, then she doesn't know, you know, who the father is. So she picks the hottest dope boy and he's not having it. So there's somebody with the vert Benz over here. He'll believe it. You know, he's talking about hitting licks and he's like painting a picture of just the massive like when you think about a deeper level, you're talking about the situations that and the economic conditions that breed a situation like that will put a person in that space to begin with, you know. And that's why Trick Daddy is different, and that's why he is a severely underrated MC, because the storytelling that he always brought. I mean, on a fucking party record, you know, it's it's dope. It reminds me of like Tupac on on How Do You Want It, right? Like when you listen to the second verse of How Do You Want It, Tupac goes from, you know, from the first verse talking about like hips and ass and you know, describing a beautiful woman, to then talking about political situations with politicians wanting to corral the music industry on account of obscenity, right? So this, but what I was talking about was the funk reference, right? If you listen to that Barry White sample, right, that's Barry White. Then you go to, and you've seen this shit pop up. Then you go to this fuck shit. Where is it? Where's this stupid ass song? Nah, they got that off of that. What the hell are those people's names? Hold up, I gotta find it. I fucking hated this song so bad. Quad City DJs. I could not stand this song. You hear how slow it is compared to the Miami version? This is the Atlanta version. Like, bro, that shit is like, that shit. It's pop, bro. It's very mid. You know, they slowed it down. The rapping words is all drug out, so you could understand it. You know, but that sample. So if we go. Let's go to who sampled. All right, and let's go to, because theirs will probably come up faster since theirs was a bigger song. Even though if you want to clear a dance floor in Miami, play that fuck shit. You want to get something thrown at you, play that song. So like this shit right here, bro, they would loop like this by itself, like this song, they would like loop it like 3 or 4 times. And you're talking about like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids just like dancing their ass off to this. You know, and then the DJs are doing call and response, like this is the music that they were dancing to at the party. So the reason why it got sampled so many times was because that vibe was so legendary and it was so known throughout the region that they had to go get it. And that's, you know, that's, I mean, dude, if that ain't hip hop, I don't know what is, right? So from the same at the same time, like if you go back to the break, on this song. If you go back to the break on this song, the good version.
Drop dick coming, 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 lift that, give me that.
So the way he starts the song and like the break that they have in there.
They get money's outcome. They wanna make a choice, which is crab ass golden. You can break off with the robbers go to
Break them hoes. Put your hands up high, your ass down low, now drop that pussy to the floor. Your pussy. Santa Claus coming, Santa Claus coming, Santa Claus coming, Santa Claus coming, Captain Dick coming, Captain Dick coming, bird coming.
So that shit, Santa Claus coming, Santa Claus coming, Captain Dick coming, Verb coming, Trick coming, Pocahontas coming. The what they would do on 89.1 was people would come in and like it would be like it would be like, yo, it'd be like, yo, what you know, like what hood you from or whatever, and you know somebody would say like, you know, the city of Miami, like Wynwood or something, and you know, and then they would be like, you know, Uncle Al would be like, Wynwood coming, and they respond, Wynwood coming, and then he would fucking chant, Wynwood coming, Wynwood coming, Wynwood coming. There was a time where they were broadcasting over Christmas where they were just, you know, they were just wilding out, so he just started going off saying Santa Claus coming for like an hour over the music, and it was riding. So that this song right here is a tribute to that. For you guys that don't know, Uncle Al was murdered in 2001 in his fucking front yard. Somebody had accused him of stealing a radio transmitter. He went outside. He went outside to tell him that like, yo, it ain't that. They weren't trying to hear it, and they fucking murdered the local legend over a few $1,000 in his and thank you, Eduardo. It's called Ride Out. And that's why like to this day, like if you're talking to somebody from Miami and you're like, and you're like, hey bro, you know what I'm saying, you going to live tonight? Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna ride out. Are you riding, bro? You riding or looking? Yeah, I'm riding out. I'm finna slide. Yeah, I'm gonna ride out. That's where that shit comes from. And it's oh shit, that's almost like 30 years old now, and it's like that stuff is still in the lexicon. It's important. So you know, when you get you know, like when you get to a point where you're doing music for a while, especially when you're someone like me, and I've spent like the last 3 like 3 years on YouTube, you know what I mean, just kind of, you know, and on studio1tutorials.com, because I don't know, like I don't know if you guys appreciate what YouTubers do for you, right? Like people like me and MG the Future, like the people who do a lot of videos, like you know, like Busyworks Beats, like the ones who do like a lot of videos, and it's all based off of helping you guys learn and teach. A lot of times, like you know, you especially if you're doing it in a business, like you take a sabbatical from your own thing. You know what I mean? Like you're no longer like making stuff that you know, that's like your idea or what's coming to your head. You know, you're going through and, you know, you're checking your Discord, or you know, people are hitting you up. They're like, hey, can you help me show you this? Hey, can you show me that? So you wind up getting into a situation where like you build this amazing rig to make all this music. And I had I don't know, I was just like thinking, I was like, yo man, like what do I really, you know, like because when you do a lot of hacking and when you do a lot of reverse engineering, it's easy to lose the shit that really connects with you, bro. And as I was kind of just like meditating and reflecting on this fucking mid-ass year that we've experienced, I'm like, yo, what's the shit what's the music that makes my blood go? You know what I mean? Like what are the fucking songs that I hear and it is just instant movement, you know? And it all I've been thinking on it a while, and it all kind of hit me on Saturday. I was at a party. It is a mid-hack crisis, Jayon. Very astute. I was at a party. It was my wife's homegirl's fiance's birthday party. We had to drive across to Fort Myers to get there. They just bought a new house and everything, and they had a nice sound system. And these girls are the pretty girls, bro. And so we're in there, and we're all ratchet. And I had a moment where his friends were there, and his friends are like from the Northeast and stuff, and they were more like refined. They had their button up shirts on and shit. And we went, and we put the music on, and Hoochie Mama came on. And when Hoochie Mama came on, like we all just started dancing in the living room like it was fucking, like like you do at a house party, right? And everybody has something to drink, everybody has something to smoke, everybody was feeling good. And it was a moment, right? Because it was all of us, like we were back, like we were back in our young ratchet days, like moving how we move. Like it's not a it's not a refined, demure style of dance, if you will. And we're doing this in the living room, and then the East Coast people, the more refined guests, they're just like kind of looking at us like, and this happens every time one of the girls gets a new man. They don't understand that we ghetto. And anyway, I just had a moment. I was like, yo, this is like, and my girl's like, oh shit, you could definitely tell where we're all from. But you could definitely tell where we're all from, bro. But the point is I was like, yo, this is like, I realize I don't tap into this enough. I do like a lot of this Atlanta trap shit because it's kind of familiar. It revolves around a sub bass, and it kind of feeds that space that I like when I make music where the sub takes up so much. But like that shit ain't Ralph, bro. This is my shit. So on the ride home, I had this long ass ride home. I was like, what's my favorite Trick Daddy album, right? And this one is the GOAT. Just the way it starts off.
I'm telling you, boy, I got them boys, dog. I'm trying to tell you, boy. You can't catch me, boy. Don't stop me, boy. Touch me, my dog gon' watch you, boy. Never disrespect me, boy. Dog, you better check your boy. Cause I'll never 38 you, I'll take you, boy. Pray God protect you, boy. Go in the zone just like you.
Hold on, I gotta do this more justice, because here's the thing, man. This this video, like this video was a problem, bro, because they took I got you, bro. I'm here with you. If you guys ever heard me like explain like why I like gangster rap so much, and why I like like more aggressive music and shit like that, like I've always been like since I was a little boy, like an action movie junkie, fighting movies, Van Damme, shit like that. So this this thing right here, that was fucking Walmart, bro. Oh my god, this is amazing, bro. This video is classic. What's up, Apex?
You know you gotta bust tail light, boy?
I know the tail light bust when you just busted the tail light. I was looking at you busting the tail light. Sir, I
Get
don't
out
want
of the car,
sir,
boy.
we-
Come on, get out of the car, boy.
Man, I don't want no problems.
Get
sir.
out of the car, boy. Come on, boy, get out of the car.
Man, sir, I ain't want no problems with you, man.
Boy, get out of the car.
I'm telling you, boy, I got them boys. Dog, I'm trying to tell you.
Again, Trick Daddy, super underrated artist, right? Super underrated artist. They did not have to put this scene in there, right? They could have done girls with asses in the club. They could have done money and chains, but they made sure they made sure 100% to tell you something about what was going on.
You can't catch me, boy.
Don't stop me, boy.
Touch me, my dog, you, boy.
Never disrespect me, boy.
Dog, you better check your boy. Cause I never shot you, boy.
Pray God protect you, boy. Go in the zone just like you let
I
you,
know
boy.
you wanna go home, but we ain't gonna let you, boy. And if my money ain't right, you better stretch you, boy. Cause when it's about that bird, I'ma sweat you, boy. You see us round in the Lexus, boy.
But we rap a lot like a Texas, boy.
And if you ain't slipping, slide, now I wreck you, boy. And give me 50 fish out my section, boy. You disrespect that like we sexist, boy.
You know, keep us, boy. I don't mean no harm to protection, boy.
And you notice, like, they're all going back and forth. Like, you can't hear it because they're blocking the cusses out, but they're all going back and forth flawlessly. Like that shit that people be amazed, like when the Locks do 1 or 2 times on an album. Like, these are guys. These are, of course, Worldwide Wally is fucking the littest, bro. But just like they're really fucking good rappers. You know what I mean? Like the shit that you would give, people who've been rapping for years together props for doing. They got it. But the thing that was epic about this video is this car chase. Like this car chase happened the same. I think it was like 6 or 8 months before this came out. So this is real, Miami news footage, and they cut it with they cut it with the video.
Rolling with them bulletproof windows, boy. Cause them jack boys, you know they got the engine, boy. If I bend you, boy, I got a place I send you, boy. In the I lend you, boy.
Look at it. It's the same buildings, bro. Shot for shot. Shot for shot, bro.
So I suggest you don't be fucking with me. And if you don't wanna die, don't be fucking with me. Don't wanna lose your life, don't be fucking with me. And if you ain't gonna slide, don't be fucking with me.
I suggest you don't be
Fucking with me. And if you don't wanna die, don't be fucking with me. Don't wanna lose your life, don't be fucking with me. And if you ain't gonna slide, don't be fucking with me.
You can't f with the South, boy. Watch your mind, boy. With the tribe in this game, we'll take you out, boy. In 95 South, find another rock, boy. It ain't hard for us to show you what we about, boy. Leave without a trace, boy.
I'm at your
Bro, and like Black Beats, he's obviously from the era, Eduardo knows, like, if you see the way that they're reacting to it. Like this was like, for, because you got to understand Miami, the difference between Miami and everywhere else where that had a hip hop scene or a hip hop movement is that Miami is at the southern end of a 500-mile long peninsula. Okay. So if you're say you're in, I don't know, like say you're in New York, right? If you're in New York, you could drive 2 hours and be in Philly. You could drive 3 hours and be to DC. You know what I mean? So 3 hours you could be in the South, right? 3 hours you could be in Philly. You could shoot up. You could shoot up to Connecticut. You could go what is it like 6 hours to get to a whole nother country and go to Toronto, and you know, and fuck with that vibe. Like you have this opportunity to reach, you know, because every city that has a different culture, has a different accent. You have this opportunity to reach out to go to all of these different places. Atlanta, the same thing. You have the South, you know, Raleigh, North Carolina. You can, you know, you can move around and go to these different places just by having a car. That same, you know, 6 hours that you would drive from Miami and go north, you would still be in Florida. You would hit Jacksonville. You know, it wouldn't be. I mean, Jacksonville's a lot different from a lot different from Miami, but the point is there was a no the I am KNLV, the storyline from this video is different from that actual high speed chase. But the point is we're so isolated, and that's what made like the culture and the sound so unique, because there wasn't you know, you couldn't just like go to Philadelphia and battle, you know, and battle the, you know, the different people out there. You were just like stuck in Florida. So but back to this album's drums, man. These drum patterns, Righteous Funk Boogie. When you listen to the song, right? What do you hear?
I know you wanna go home, we ain't gonna let you, boy. And if my money ain't right, you better stretch it, boy.
If you listen to the dominant instrument in there, it's like this. I don't know how to describe the guitar, but it's like it's like a it's like a different it's like a funk guitar, right? Like a little worka. So again, remember the funk records, right?
About all the dickhead shit that you did this year. You ain't got no money. What? Now they wanna roll with me, get dough with me, drink more with me, blow dro with me, fuck hoes with me. They wanna squeeze with me, open cheese with me, flex these with me. You ain't gonna never see them sitting on these with me. Now they wanna roll with me, get dough with me, drink more with me, blow dro with me, fuck hoes with me. They wanna squeeze with me, open cheese with me, flex these with me. You ain't gonna never.
You hear the wah guitar? You hear the little rhythm guitar in the background? What's that from? Those are funk articulations, right? .808 sub bass. Okay. Garrett, you're right. You're correct. You're correct.
I'm sitting in the cut, smoking on what? Haters better watch out for the what? I put it to you what? Bring it from your head to you what? Yeah, I'm real with it, nigga, what? You wanna play hate, nigga, what? Yeah, I'm slipping slide, nigga, what? You better give a fuck, but find a penetrating through your gut. You better cop a pistol for some luck, quick, hey, you learn how to luck. Before I get the burning you up, slipping slide, turning it up, nigga.
We can't be touched like hot potatoes. Every nigga I know keep a Glock for haters. Let me know what he doing with them rocks. If you let me go, I'll run up in the spot. Give it 2 states, we draped and locked down. Can't no bitch alive stop me now. Get it like track, gotta stand my ground. Back up off me with your hands out, clown. Slip and slide on the donkey, you wanna know what's up. Know like I know, better not fuck.
We got the weed in the trunk, nigga roll the D's in the dome. Nigga break a beat for the phone. Try to come in clean like a brick. Nigga gon' hit your time for a lick. Nigga real wrong, we attack him. Let the case slack him. Nigga out of line, so we had to subtract him. We keep it real while y'all counterfeit. Throw a blast from the K, get a sign you get. We gon' do you like a pound we get. So you better stay from rhyme and shit.
That's funk. So you got like our brother Garrett pointed out, you got reggae guitar influence, because again, a lot of the musical influence, like a lot of the musicians down here, we had a lot of reggae musicians. VIP Records had studios out here where like Robbie Shakespeare, guys like Mikey Spice and shit like that would come and record, and they would, you know, they would be recording in the hood, like off of 27th Avenue, North Carroll City. You know, they would just take a house you know, and flip it and flip it into a whole studio. Like I heard, I like going to those studios. I fucked around hearing like secret Wyclef songs that never came out. I wish they came out. Wyclef was fucking killing that song. But anyway, let's go through it. Mute a guitar.
It's supposed to be the land of the free.
That old Yamaha nylon up top.
Oh, America. Oh, America. America.
Yeah. They came for the dub plates, bro. I did actually that's how I met the VIP fucking guys. Was they wanted us, there are guys in the neighborhood, and they seen us like recording on 4-tracks, and we were rapping over other people's songs, and they were like, yo, you can't make records like that, bro. What are y'all doing? Let's take you to the studio. You guys like to rap, right? You guys like to rap. Just make some dub plates for us, and say you know, just you know, instead of talking about girls and shit, talk about the sound. What do you mean talk about the sound? Like titanium sound. That's and the sounds were like was like the DJ, were like the DJ clicks down there, right? So they want like some American rappers, and then we would leave space for like the DJs or their dudes to chant in the middle of it. That was when your boy was a jit though. Horns.
We gonna let the band deal with this.
This is the marching band influence. High school marching band. Legendaries.
Shut up. Okay. What's up? 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 Right around in my brain.
This song right here is for the life of me the reason why I can't write a snare pattern that just goes clap. Like I can never do it. It never sounds right. It never sounds like music. This shit right here is the reason why I always need my shit to go cap.
Brand new 99 photo Volvo. I got a pocket full of bees. Cold weed, it ain't got no place to go though. But all my bogan boys, they know though. That's for sure though.
Are those bigger white jeans you're wearing?
Hell no, ho, you know they polo.
I've been used again, accused again. This time been wrong for charge for something done by one of my using friends. Soon as they seen the bands, hating season was in. Hell, cause they feeling me, but I understand.
Funk guitars. Bro, you got if you go fuck like Eduardo said, you got to have the clackety clack snares. You gotta have the clackety clack snares.
Now first of all, y'all hoes should know a nigga don't work for y'all. My dogs don't give a fuck, and we'll fuck you sluts on coke and all. Bitch, ain't no need for no skis.
These are my favorite drums on the album. This beat is fucking nuts.
Cause bitch, I feed you, hoe. Young greasy hoe, you sleazy hoe, but a nigga don't need you, hoe. Believe me, hoe. Bitch, you don't know. Now a nigga like me, how you gonna play a nigga like me? Straight that thug nigga like me, and I know I shouldn't say this, but this dick and I slain this bitch for days. Try to explain this shit in ways. I'm 24/7 like AAA, so shut up. You're looking like a hoe, you're talking like a hoe, you're dressing like a
Yes,
hoe,
Money Mike, spot on.
Bitch, you lied to me.
So that was the element that modernized it, right? Because you weren't going to be able to create this vibe with a boom bap template, with a boom bap tempo. You were gonna Miami's not close to Virginia at all. At all. It's very far away. Virginia's closer to New York than it is to Miami, bud. But you couldn't the thing that like Timbo and what Timbo did for Devontae was they had they had the bounce, right? And where Timbo got those rhythms from, even though I'm gonna chill because I love you guys. But even though even though Timbo is held in such high esteem, especially by producers of our age and from that era, because we just couldn't like it was just so new what he was doing. These rhythms, if you take them back where they're really from, like that boom chaka boom dum bam dum dum, that shit comes from the islands. That's calypso rhythms. That comes from that comes from the Haiti people coming through, that comes from the Bahamian people coming through, that comes from the Virgin Islands people, that comes from the Virgin Islands people coming through. But Timbaland also drew from that too. But that's why I think it's important, because the guy who produced most of this, Righteous Funk Boogie, that's why I said when I started this, like I'm gonna make it a goal of mine to find him, because if he's in Florida, I want to see if he just wants to talk and do an interview, because I think I think this is important for people to know about. Like the Miami sound, it didn't become like the dominant sound of the South, but it's fucking awesome and it's super unique.
I still got pounds in this bitch to blow. Smoke like it's yours, nigga, we'll go get some more. I know this dread named Fred next door when I'm hitting this hoe. Got them in them blow. Behind the wheel and I can't even see the road. Let's smoke 4 Joe and got 3 more already roll. I shouldn't drive my shit with them high, I might care.
And when you listen to Trying to Stop Smoking, one of the things that you notice is the kicks and the 808s, like they have completely different patterns and they're almost doing call and response to each other.
She got my eyes all red up, nigga. Can't even hold their head up. Got my brain waves elevating in the days, but I ain't afraid cause I not see life from so many ways. It's smoked on so many days, been high for so many days, so many dust masters broke down and re-rolled with brown weed.
You heard what he said, Eduardo? Break it down, roll it with brown weed, and yay.
Smoke, I'm trying to stop smoking, but nah, I don't think so. I'm trying to stop smoking, I'm trying to stop smoking, nah, I don't think so. I'm trying to stop smoking, I'm trying to stop smoking, but nah, I don't think so. I'm trying to stop smoking, I'm trying to stop smoking, but nah. I be popping like a choo-choo train, nigga, but the bonafide smokers on my team. I got the urge for light green, the same way a big bitch craves for ice cream. Smoke that bag, with that gas, shit we ain't rolling to be looking at. So much smoke be coming out the with the bitches in the next car saying, Daddy, what that? That's the purple and the green. Give me $50 cars, I be coming in the hood where you ain't gotta worry about catching no motherfucking headache or stress. I be smoking on the good shit. No matter where I'm at, in the ride at home, in the studio writing. Hold your breath if you can't take it, cause if you with me and I got it, motherfucker, I'm lighting. Not trying to say I'm no hype, but at the dinner so gone, then I know I be tight. And I been smoking all motherfucking day, and I'm about to be smoking for the rest of the night. That's why my chest be hurting, and I sleep so much and I can't remember shit. I went to the emergency room already. I think I better quit. Trying to stop smoking.
And see, like, so you could go through you could go through you could go through you can go through and you can listen to this album. You see it's a very diverse work. It represents everything that's going on in that era, and it also brings together the sounds from the past, from the Pac Jam to the funk influence, to the calypso, and you know, the Brazilian drums, and the Jamaican bass lines, and and the TR-808, you know, and the 909 snares on some of the shit. And then there's also like lyrically, even though Trick is, you know, abrasive, aggressive, shot out, vulgar, all those things, like they still made it a point to do something like this. It's always honest. And I think more than anything, like the reason why like a lot of music feels mids, like the reason why I like Meek Mill's last project so much, because like a lot of the songs that I liked on it, the songs that I loved on it were very honest. The songs that were like, I was just like, all right, whatever, you're just bragging.
Could it be? Could it be that I'm lost, getting soft, and just falling in love?
Bro, let me tell you something, dog. Let me tell you something. If you had speakers in your car and you had a blunt rolled and you had a nice lady with you and you threw this shit on and you had the car parked and you rolled up to this, bro, by the time Twista came on, the night was going how you wanted that shit to go.
Falling in love. Could it be? Ooh, for the thugs, y'all. Nigga. Dirty sheep, got sneak peeping, creeping, trying to duck my homeboy. Telling lies to the guys like, nigga, I'm going home, boy. Hitting back the streets, wanna see my boo. I got a gift or two for you, a little something for your mama too.
Bro, you understand? Like, are you listening? Are you listening to what he says? Are you listening to what he says, bro?
I got a gift or two for you, a little something for your mama too.
Like, that's how you know, right? When you listen to like when you listen to a man like this rap about, you know, some player shit, and he's talking about like, yo, I came through, got a gift or two, and something for your mother too. Like that's somebody who really dealt with women, right? That's not just some, you know, some little idiot on the track, you know, talking about like, yeah, I fucked your bitch and I fucked your side bitch. She gave me brain. I went insane. She's man insane. Like, no, bro. He's going through the finer details of like, yo, let me just like, you know, everybody knows who I am, you know, and everybody knows what I'm about in the neighborhood, but let me still conduct myself as a fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Let me still conduct myself as a grown-ass man. I'm still going to smash the shit out of you, girl. And we're going to talk about that too. But first, I'm going to make sure that your mother is all right with you getting in the dunk.
Thinking about you all day in a dog way. Wanna hold you in mom's little mama, and I can't wait. Tongue tied, but can't lie. Showing love to the guy. And you know I'm showing up for the guy. Something fucking touching one another on top of the cover. Let's get some elf in this motherfucker. And she be calling my name. I'm telling the things I can't explain. Something forever. We should always be together. Shit, sweet love, slow tongue kisses and hugs. I'm on a mission, wishing kissing the belly button. She humming songs, cause they come along, and it won't be long. Cause to reach that zone, leave it alone. To each his own, precious stones. When you reach that zone, keep a peaceful home and lead them crooked people alone. Making kids.
Bro, this guy is dropping is talking about aspirations of having a peaceful home. Pay attention.
Send your wife your whole life. It'll be hard at first, but hold tight. When love to be that I'm lost, getting soft, and just falling in love.
And ever since I hit them draws, I tell her kicking it with my shit tight swinging. Don't really seem like the girl I see out. You was looking out. Never met a girl that could
feel scared of love. But y'all women tend to get so scandalous. And the thug niggas just can't handle this.
But then I never met a girl that could roll a feeling like you. You just feeling like you. When I kick my flow, who feeling like you? You was looking all sexy when you got out your ride. Checking out your thighs. The dreams of a fine girl I see out my eyes. She about your size, little mama. Don't really seem like the type that'll bring a motherfucker drama. Some nigga done just put her through a little trauma. So it's me she seen the honor. These other
been short lately. Me and her been hanging, smoking, drinking, keeping shit tight, swinging, all in the midnight banging. Never tripping when I'm tipping, or just kicking it with my dogs. We ball with them niggas, telling me my nose been open ever since I hit them draws. I tell them I'm still a pimp, I don't really want you, but I just pretend. Cause I damn near kick it with you the same way that I be tripping out with them. Trick that it won't ride on me. He told me, Twister, gon' kick it however you want, long as you handle.
Nah, Nerd Vision. It's not about the type of loops I'm gonna make right now. It's just I want to share this with you guys. You know, cause maybe you know, maybe some of you guys are, you're trying to figure out like, yo, you know, like what's going on, it's 2020, you know, what we about to do, what's about to be about, you know, so on and so forth. And I think it's a good opportunity to go back and really, you know, we talked to like, I remember there was like a thing on Twitter earlier this year that like Curtis King was going through, and it was a larger discussion where he was asserting that like, yo, like it was when Nipsey Hussle passed away, right, when Nipsey Hussle was murdered, and he was saying like, yo, your sound could, you should have a regional sound, you should represent where you're from. And you know, like always, you know, all of that shit made a certain type of white people feel like they were being attacked, you know, because anytime we try to assert the parameters of culture, those same types of white people try to tell us that we don't have no business defining it, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to get in touch with that and to remember it. And I'm fuck it, I'm doing it live with you guys, you know, because this is something that was all coming together over the course of the weekend, you know what I'm saying? And I think that people can struggle with that, with that idea, like, yo, what do you mean I'm supposed to make music that that represents, my town or whatever. Like there was Europeans coming through. There was like, yo, I'm from fucking Norway, what's my shit supposed to sound like? And it's just like, bro, you got to take a look at yourself at that point. Like if you're from Norway, you know what I mean? If you're from if you're from Uzbekistan, you know, like what is it that's drawing you into this? Is it the opportunity to express yourself and to share, your thoughts and your cultures and your morals and your values? Because that's what Book of Thugs chapter AK verse 47 is, right? If you're paying attention to these verses that I'm showing you, you got could it be, then you got this.
Now first of all, you done traffic coat and then flip the damn your ass with a slow hold. And you got top of the line, slow head. Like for the dick to be locked, cocked, and shot all over your forehead. You a pole rat and your pussy fat, so show that.
This guy just said 40 dicks done been locked, cocked, and shot all over your forehead. Okay? This is the same guy who was talking about how he's gonna come through and do something nice for your mother. But if you're paying attention, what he's breaking down to you is the two types of situations that you can get into in this city. You see what I'm saying? Like he's explaining to you like, yo, this place is a crazy place. That's why it's important to bring the art out to it. So MH, if you're talking about Iowa, we never seen Iowa before. We don't know what Iowa's about, so you would want to do something, and it's always best when you bring the duality into it, right? Because that's what Book of Thugs really centers on. You understand? It's conscious rap and it's gangster rap. Every other song, conscious rap, gangster rap, conscious rap, gangster rap, conscious rap, gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? You get a song like this, and this song, like for example, this song America, right? This song is so important that it appears on not one but two Trick Daddy albums, right? So you only get paid when you only get paid for 12 songs. You know what I mean? And he thought this song was so important that you got to put it on two albums because people needed to hear this.
Shot by the cops at a truck.
Nigga. You a nigga.
No.
Not America.
Thanks, Troy. I appreciate you.
Not in America.
The next the guy who's about to rap this verse right here, his name is Society, right? And he was like our first rapper. Like Society, if you go and you ask anybody from that era who knows, like if you ask them who was the best lyricist, they would tell you Society. Like we thought Society was gonna take off, but he was more like the beats and shit that he gravitated towards was more of like East Coast stuff. And I think the reason why Trick Daddy took off is because Trick Daddy sounded like the guys in the projects, but Society, let's listen.
No.
Not in this America. No.
You only got $2 to give less than a fuck.
Then you a nigga.
Got a nice home in a Lexus truck.
You a nigga.
World champions and you MVP.
You a nigga.
4 degrees and a PhD.
Still a nigga.
To use your platinum card, you need 4 IDs.
Then you's a nigga.
If your skin is brown just like me,
Then you a nigga.
got a promotion in a fat ass race.
You still a
You
nigga.
from the islands and your peoples was enslaved.
You a nigga.
No matter how much your ass get paid.
Still a
Shot
nigga.
by the cops at a traffic stop.
Cause you a nigga.
That's why I hold toast to.
Shot by the cops at a traffic stop. Like, this is 1999. We were in 2019. Shit's been going on.
I sell by coastal.
International, they into cashing you.
With satellites from
Mul-
deep space.
Multi-syllabic rhyme schemes. Like the East Coasters.
Toast too. I sell by coastal. International.
He said, that's why I hold toast too. I sell by coastal. International, they into catching you in satellites and deep
Get
space.
paid.
Still a
Shot
nigga.
by the cops at a traffic stop.
Cause you a nigga.
That's why I hold toast too. I sell by coastal. International, they into catching you with satellites from deep space. Now, who invented niggas in the first place? They said America's the original birthplace. Who getting 10, 20 life on their first case?
My niggas.
1020 life was a new law that was passed like a couple years prior to this album released. And what it said was, if you were involved in any crime if you were involved with any crime where a gun was involved, whether you pulled it on somebody, you were, I believe, is if you were searched and they found it and it was one, but Florida's weird. Like they would have to prove that it was like a stolen gun or something, because you're allowed to have guns in Florida. But if you were, definitely if it was violent, you got, and it wasn't a murder, you got 10 years. Your second time was 20, and then after that it was just life. There was no there was no rehabilitation and anything, right? So that's why he said who's getting 10-20 life on their first case, because what they did when they passed that law is, if you went to they did not put these signs up in Weston. All right. They did not put these signs up in Coral Gables. They did not put these signs up in Kendall's. But if you went into any black neighborhood in in South Florida during those like 3 to 5 year spans, they had these huge black billboards, and it would be like, use a gun, you're done, 10-20 life, and they were fucking everywhere, like everywhere in the hood. Right, so bro, bro, Eduardo, the hood billboards were crazy, right? So you'd have the 10-20 life billboards on one side, and then on the other side it would be like get your AIDS test now, or it'd be like the directions to Planned Parenthood. A lot of like Planned Parenthood type stuff. Yeah, Smash and Grab was a crazy time. Smash and Grab, fucking Jack Boys. But yeah, man. So I get to I like so I go through it. Excuse me. And I get to thinking about stuff like this. And obviously like you hear the way that I talk about it. Right? Oh, the snitch signs. Yes, the snitch signs. Crime Stoppers. 1-800 Crime Stoppers. $10,000 reward for any relevant information, bro. Nobody got the $10,000 reward, just like nobody got the fucking $15,000 studio package. Never, bro. Never, not once, bro. Hell nah, bro. Never, not fucking once. But the point is that I think that when you want to well, I mean yeah, it's Miami, bro. Everything's blown out of proportion, bro. But I think that if you want to yeah, the posters had crosshairs on them. I think that if you want to if you find yourself in a situation where I'm describing, where because I think you guys can fall into it too, right? Like like I was explaining, like yeah, hell yeah, we had 222 tips. Yeah, that's wild that was national. But what I'm saying is that because like, yo, okay, I was talking to MG. We didn't do it on Sunday because it feels weird doing it, but I'm gonna do it right now. Like we were talking about, we did that whole like end of the decade wrap up, and we talked about like the most influential and noteworthy things that happened in music and technology, in the past 10 years, and we didn't talk about YouTube, bro. We didn't talk about YouTube, and I think YouTube is the number one most important thing that happened in music production, because we've been able to take people who want to be artists and people who want to be producers, and take a 10-year journey and condense it down. If you work hard, we can condense it down into 18 months. You know what I mean? Or we can take or we could take like the OGs who sold all their equipment when they had kids, and now they got some disposable income and they want to get the Akai Live, and we can we could show them how to hack and put them in a position where maybe if they're not actively competing in the industry, but they can they can get up to speed real fast. You could find anything you want on YouTube, and nobody's gonna tell this story, you know what I'm saying? And the people who do have the resources to tell this story, they don't like me and MG, so they ain't gonna fucking give you the real fucking talk, you know what I mean? They're just gonna co-opt it to tell their version. So I just want to be the first one to say that 100% YouTube is the most important development in the 2010s for for music producers. You know what I mean? Like we fucking like we did it. We helped everybody. But in the course of participating in this community, and I know how it goes. Like you get some time, you get into the studio, you pull up the laptop or whatever, you're looking for some inspiration, you go to a tutorial, you wind up going down a rabbit hole, you watch 3 of them shits, you might not never even make a beat. You know what I mean? And then in the course of that, you get lost. Like, like we were talking in the Discord today, and just like and just like giving bro a hard time about samplers and shit. And then people come in and they're like, wait a minute, so we're not chopping samples? And it's like a crazy thing, right? Like when Curtis said he was quitting YouTube, and you looked at all of his comments, it was all of his followers saying, all right, so what are we doing next? You know what I mean? And I think that it's important, when there is this emphasis on community and being communal, and we all feel like that we're connected and we're friends, that we understand, like, hey, like, yeah, bro, it's a community, blah blah blah, positive, but positive vibes and all that shit, like, manifest things and all that fuck shit, like, yeah, that's cute, but at the same time, like, I need all y'all to tell me who you are. You understand? Like, I need you, like I be giving plays and shit, you know. Give plays. I definitely give plays, but I want to know through your music how like how Trick Daddy showed me through his music, and Righteous Funk Boogie showed me, showed me in his music who he was, because we go through it and we listen to the snares, we listen to the guitars, we listen to the kicks, and we can have this great conversation like, yo, I hear Timbaland, Money Mike could be like, yo, I hear Timbaland, and then I can say, yeah, and that comes from the Caribbean, and then he goes and looks, he's like, hold on, how close are they to New York, or how close are they to Virginia? And then he fucking looks at the map and he's like, oh, they're way closer to the islands than they are to, and then we have this experience, like that's part of the magical vibe that makes music feel so weird now, right? It's just when you take, and this is for you old heads too, bro. Like, if you could better define it, it's better, right? Because you don't just want to say like, yo, the new kids can't rap. You don't just want to say like, yo, the new kids can't make beats, or the new kids can't do that. It's like no, bro. It's like, I don't know who you cats are. You know what I mean? I don't know what your influence is. I don't know about where you grew up. I don't know about what you're afraid of. I don't know about what makes you mad. The only thing I know is that you will fuck my bitch. That's the only thing I know. So why do I want to listen to that shit? You know what I mean? Um, but there's fucking there's new guys out there's new guys out there that are dope, that are doing that. Like if you listen to like NBA YoungBoy, he does a good job of telling you who he is, and what's going on with him. And I think that's why the young people gravitate towards the sad rappers, because it's like the closest thing they can get to like this Trick Daddy honesty, right? Like that's their version of it, you know. That's their version of it. It's like, yo, I'm really sad, and I'm afraid that this girl's gonna leave me. You know what I mean? It's just that they didn't have no gangster ass uncle to fucking tell them like, yo, when you go through and you pick that girl up, bring something from her mom, so her mom is gonna say good things about you when she gets to talking shit about you in the fucking at the dinner table. She's gonna be on your team. Always get mama on your team. Like, they didn't have those lessons. Let's see, what do we got going on? Dion Waiters will be reinstated by the Heat on Tuesday. They're gonna send him to the D League. Apex says, "You think motherfuckers are depressed as fuck?" I think that's I think that's a part of it, but I don't think that everybody's depressed. Like I think a lot of that shit is cap. You know what I mean? I think because I've seen like the type of depression that people on Twitter be caping for. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, you can't control it. It's like bro, like I've seen that shit, bro. Like I've seen people fucking swallow the 30 Zans, get their stomach pumped, talking about, I just wanted to go to sleep. I just wanted to go to sleep and never wake up. Yeah, I didn't want to die. I just wanted to go to sleep and never wake up. When you put, it's just like think of it like this. Think of it like this, Apex, right? Back when gangster rap like this was 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 prevalent or was prevalent and shit. If you think about the people who were outsiders and the way that they acted, the way that they dressed, the black sense that the white boys would talk with and shit like that, and try to dread up their hair or get the fake gold teeth, you know what I mean, like Taz Taylor or some fuck shit like that. When you like you would say like, yo, boy's pie, he's he's a wankster, he's fucking fake, bro, he's a wigger, like you knew that shit was fake. They don't, because that's such a popular meme in the culture right now. I think that you have a lot of similar, you have like, like in instead of being a fake gangster, you're a fake sad boy. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing, dog. I don't believe that there is a large epidemic of chemical, of clinically analyzed chemical imbalances. You know what I mean? You just see this shit trending, and the fucked up thing about it is if somebody was a fake thug, if somebody was like Malibu's most wanted, you call them out, and be like, yo, you're pie, you're corny, you know what I mean, like you gooking, bro, you need to relax. But if somebody's sad, and they're telling you and they're telling you that they're suffering with depression, you can't challenge them on that. At least not on social media, right? You could do, you could do it privately. You could say like, all right, well, let's get you to the psychiatrist and see what they think, but there's a lot of people who self-diagnose, having a hard time. Bro, there's artists, bro, look, there's one artist that a lot of people were a lot of fans of. I ain't gonna say his name because I'm not gonna disrespect him, but I know of people who were from his circle, and they were like, yo, like a lot of people, they were like, yo, he was putting a lot of that on to kind of infiltrate, man. It's not unheard of. That's why I have the attitude towards it. There were, there's definitely like elements of like the era that I grew up in that was like 100% toxic. You know what I mean? Like 100% could be handled differently and stuff like that. I don't really think that we need to, espouse, you know, the finer details and minutia of that line of thinking, you know, and debate them, because I don't think that that's productive. But all this there's definitely a trend. There is definitely a trend of it's a meme, bro. Like mental health is a meme. It's a double-edged sword, because you want more people to talk about it. You want people to not be afraid to, you know, to ask themselves, like, hey bro, like do I have something wrong with me? Can I go to you know, because there's real people out there with real chemical imbalances. There's real people out there on lithium. There's real people out there that literally cannot get out of bed some days, you know. And those people don't fucking tweet about it, bro. Eduardo, that's a real thing, bro. That's a real thing with people from the hood, dude. That's a real thing, especially if you're from a violent neighborhood. You know, if you're, you know, like you think about you think about you know, if you're from a place where you had to take like a different route to go to different places, or you couldn't play on the basketball court at certain times, you know, because you would get jumped or some shit, or if you've been or if you've been violated a couple times, like that'll absolutely give you PTSD, bro. Like if you know what gunshots at a distance and what gunshots up close fucking sound like, you know, like that shit'll definitely give you PTSD, 100%. So it's not it's not that it's, you know, it's not that it's not real at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what's happening in popular music right now, like, yo, that shit is fucked up, you know. That's crazy, Dolo. That's crazy. That's crazy. Dudes from Overtown that never been to the city. That's wild to me, bro, because that's not that far away. That's wild, bro. Ooh, he climbing up into the top 5 power rankings. 76ers are falling because they're trash. MG the Future is stupid. I remember when y'all said Trinidad James had next. I ain't forget. What y'all talking about? Shit was serious. I don't think it's like that anymore. A lot of the turn up music is pain, but when you get Future saying, "Yeah, I've been finding much healthier ways to deal with my pain than what I rap about." I be in the mall with my kids and my eyes be all over the place. Like, what the fuck's wrong? Yeah, Eduardo. No, that's real shit, bro. Like when you're when you're sizing up situations, like that's the same. That's the same shit that soldiers that came home deal with. You know what I mean? Which is why Future rebranded as the relationship demon. Yeah. Yeah, the younger generation is into pills instead of weed. It's that's a weird one, but I don't know. Yeah, it was different, right? Like I was um like the white boys I hung out with, like they were into Zans and perks and shit like that. You know, always had pills, and like all the hood people I fucked with, like they didn't fuck with that shit at all until everybody started doing ecstasy. That was the only pill that people would fuck with. Oh God, MH, that's wild. That's super wild. That's super wild. Now we're sitting. Now we've turned the chat into war stories. X got popular when BG dropped that song. I don't know. Down my like it is you guys' hoods is probably like way different from ours because um yeah, it's way different from ours because shit hits our port first. So everything is cheap. Nothing is expensive. So there isn't a stigma on the more expensive things in other cities. So like stuff that other hoods would be like, nah, bro, we don't, that's doctor and lawyer shit. Like, nah, that was everybody shit down here. There wasn't there wa- there wasn't nobody there wasn't nobody that was scared to do anything like, oh no, we don't do that. No, that's that's not what, like pills and shit like that. We, nobody fucked with, but the other shit that Miami's famous for, like, that's not a thing that's like a weird thing, like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. Like, nah, bro. All right, Ronnie. Yeah, I think I'll bounce too. We're fucking venturing into 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 stuff that we don't really talk about on unsecure channels, man. Blaze FM says my Miami experiences were shocking. Yeah, because a lot of stuff a lot of stuff that y'all are scared of outside of Florida that y'all be fucking judging people about out there. We're just like, the fuck, you square or something? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? All right, bro, but I'm gonna holler at y'all boys, man. Keep it simple, do not be basic, and we will see you on the next one. I will I could probably tell you like 100%. I don't think, because I fly back on Sunday, so I don't think I'm finna be doing a podcast this Sunday. So I'll see you guys in a couple weeks, man.